Hey guys, Papa Pete here with another great review from the Atari 2600 from when I was a kid, and today's review is another Activision game, a great Activision game, Stampede. Stick around, we'll show you a little bit about the game.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
I've been driving cattle most of my natural life, and you're telling me I can't handle a Stampede?
Not this one, Buck.
Stampede by Activision for your Atari game system. One of the toughest video games around. Stampede's more than expert roping and riding. It's a test of strategy and skill.
Go ahead, you
Keep
do
your
it.
hands on the ride!
Buck, you boys come in now.
Oh, Mom!
Stampede by Activision.
Okay guys, Stampede is an Activision game for one player where you herd and you lasso cattle for as long as you can, trying to rack up points along the way. Stampede was developed by Activision co-founder Bob Whitehead as a follow-up to his game Skiing and Boxing. He co-founded Activision with David Crane, Alan Miller, and Larry Kaplan back in, I think it was 1980. Prior to co-founding Activision, Bob Whitehead worked for Atari, and he created several great games such as Home Run, Football, Starship, and Video Chess, just to name a few. Now, I still remember getting my copy of Stampede back when I was a kid. I think I saved up my lunch money for like a month and a half until I had like just wads of change, and I remember going over to Down East Electronics in Calais, Maine, and my brother-in-law took me down, and I went in and bought it. I think it was like something like $30, right? $30 was a lot of money for a kid back then. I saved a lot of lunch money for a long time. I still remember going in there, and I think all I had was a bag full of change. It was something I wouldn't do nowadays, but it was just memories. Like, games like that, times like that, just bring back so many great memories. So, let's take a look at the gameplay. The object of the game is to herd and lasso as many cattle as possible in gaining points, and not allowing any of the cattle to be able to exit the screen on the left-hand side. You control a lasso spinning horse riding cowboy on the left hand side of the screen who can move up and down, trying to block and capture 6 rows of cattle that move from right to left at different speeds according to their color. Dark red Herefords run fast and are easier to herd, but are only worth 3 points. Medium brown Guernseys run at medium speed. They're a little tougher to herd, and they're worth 15 points each. Now, light brown Jerseys, they run really slow, which means they come across the screen real fast at you, making them really tough to herd. But they're worth 25 points each. Finally, there's the Black Angus. He stands perfectly still, and you can't hurt him at all. Now, like the skulls that litter the game field, the Black Angus doesn't move at all. You'll trip over him if you hit him, and you'll lose control for a moment, allowing other cattle to slip by. But if you do manage to rope him, he's worth 100 points. The standard game has a regular procession. The first thing you usually see are the light brown Jerseys. Once you capture all those, they're followed up by the medium brown Guernseys. Once you've lassoed all 3 of those, or however many there are in the row, it's followed up by the dark red Herefords. Now, after you get the Herefords, one of 3 different things are going to happen. You're either going to get a skull, you're going to get a Black Angus, or you're going to get absolutely nothing. Once one of those 3 things passes you by, the cycle starts all over again with the light brown Jerseys. Now when you start the game, you can allow up to 3 cattle to stray off the screen to the left before the game's over. For every 1,000 points you score, you get an additional cow that can go off the screen. The most you can ever have at one time, though, is 9. There are 8 different versions of Stampede that you can play. 8 different games. Now the first one is a standard game where the cattle come straight at you, and it's also rotating in the cycle that I described a moment ago. Game 2 is very similar to Game 1, except for the cattle coming at you move up and down slightly, making them a little bit more difficult to lasso. Now, Game 3 is the same as Game 1, except for the order of the cattle coming at you is totally random. After you capture or lasso a particular group, you never know what's going to come next. Game 4? Game 4 has both. The cattle come at you moving up and down, making them hard to lasso, and you never know which order they're going to come at you. Now with these 4 games, the cattle all start off at a fairly slow pace as you start the game, and they gradually build their way up to a full gallop. Well, games 5 through 8 are the same as games 1 through 4, except for forget the build-up, they start right off at the full gallop. It's the biggest challenge you can get in Stampede. Hey guys, we're going to give Stampede a go right now. I'm just going to play game 1. I'll show you some of the strategies that I used to use. Frankly, not all that brushed up on it, but we'll see what we can do. Here we go. Now, one thing you know is I always like to get it so there's mostly red Herefords on the screen, because they're the easiest ones to herd because they move towards me the slowest, meaning they run the quickest. Once I have them all on, I'll take a wave of 3, like that. 2 skulls and a Black Angus. It was quite easy to handle. I can do all this. I can get the next level of fast ones before I push these ones all back on. Now I'll take the next level. After I take these ones off, I think these are called the Guernseys, that levels it out again. So I'm going to take the next wave. There's a Black Angus. There's a Black Angus. Now the fast ones will come at me again. Take that, and that. Now I'm going to go up and try to herd them all at once. So I sort of wait till the last second and keep them all in a big bunch. And now I'll get the Guernseys again, the Guernseys again. And now I'm going to go back and take these ones all. Let's see what we got. We got a skull, we got an Angus, another skull. Okay, here come the Jerseys. They're the ones that are hard to get. There we go. And I'm going to push these ones back, and we'll go for the Guernseys. Try to do it as close together so they're all sort of grouped up. Like here, see? I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, then I'll go 1, 2, 3. And we'll see, this one should come first. It did, and then this one. Perfect. I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm losing some here now. Oh, 1, 2. When it goes quick, when it goes bad fast. And there it goes. Wow. Just like that. I was going really well. And all it takes is to get messed up a little bit, and they can go by you in a hurry. But you know what? A little bit of practice, I can get back to doing a lot better. I remember you used to be able to send in for the patch with 3,000 points. I still have a photo somewhere that's an old camera that was developed. Of course, it was really hard to take pictures of the screen back then, I found. But I remember having one where I used to get 3, 4, 5,000 points regularly. A little bit of practice, I could do it again. But at the end of the day, you know what? It's just a great game. It's a lot of fun to play. Thanks, guys. So, that was a lot of fun. And what am I going to rate the game? Well, you know what?
What?
It really is still fun to play nowadays, even though it's 30 years old. It's a lot of fun just to throw in and play for a little while. You can get a couple games in real quick, and it was a lot of fun back in the day. So what am I going to rate it? I am going to rate it as great. Alright guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks a lot for spending a little bit of time with me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
You're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
What the hell?